you guys. So I wanted to talk about this because another content creator was sort of hinting at this, and it was sort of mirroring what my experiences were. So I just wanted to tell from my point of view. And she was talking about the wounded masculine, and it's someone who really went into the journey of feminine energy, which wasn't a luxury for Black American women as much in this particular lifetime. Maybe beforehand, there definitely was because the men before integration, the men were providers, and they did have those counterparts who did take care of the kids and the children. Now, there were issues, but they had that luxury. Whereas post integration, it just fell apart, and we did not. And so as we go into this journey, this woman was talking about, her name's the Universe Guru, and she was talking about how like she took a study, and this guy who used to be a feminist started talking about men's study and talking about the wounded masculine. And he was showing how there's all these examples of men on TV are shown as dumb and not smart. And she goes into it, so it's like one of her latest videos, but like how they're shown in a disempowered way. And that just corresponds to what I've been saying, because as I'm more of my feminine energy, looking for a masculine man becomes very hard. And then I realize most men are either very neutral or effeminate. They're very feminine in their energy. They have no leadership whatsoever, no guidance. That need to provide and nurture, it's very hit or miss, right? A lot of people and men whose genetics should not be altered. I said what I said. Not before. Your head, why I know, like you're like, wow, we gotta have some standards, okay? I was hearing this, like in our community, there's a guy with Down syndrome, like procreating with everyone, and had like 5 baby mamas. He had Down syndrome. That is, like, usually when people with Down syndrome go with other Down syndrome people, they can't have kids even if they have sex because, like, biology takes care of it. So what are you doing? So genetically, a lot of things shouldn't pass. So whatever. So there's a lot of men who's like evolutionarily, like they're just not made fit for like that hunter-gatherer, what we were made to be, which were men, the provider, and women to be emotionally stable, emotionally mature, and touch. And so as I went through this journey, and I'm on dating apps, which I talk about, it's been so challenging to find really masculine men now that I know what to look for. And I just wanted to say how, like, it's such a healing energy you're bringing, and the men I do actually end up engaging with, how me being in my feminine energy and recognizing it is such a healing thing. All of these guys become better because of you. You didn't do anything except be and hold firm to your boundaries. And I just want to go over to like what that looks like and how you can be a part of healing the wounded masculine. So it's very funny because in my relationships, like, they're definitely expanding. So in one relationship, I'll just say there's a current, there's a soulmate, there's the priest, and there's my ex-husband, right? So as I've gotten deeper, so I want to say how in each of these relationships, I see the men improving because of my strength of my feminine energy. So with my ex-husband, as I became, even as we co-parent, being more of my feminine energy, I naturally, if there's a problem with our daughter at school, I naturally take it to him. If she needs something, I naturally take it to him. If she has to go to like his house on the weekend and there's a birthday party and she has to miss it, or a fair at her school, she has to miss it because she's with him versus me and he lives in another city, I'm like, John, she can't do this. What can we do? And I kept doing this. And now he's like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this, this, and this. And I have some alternatives lined up. My little girl's still happy. Whereas before, he would just look. And I'm like, John, what are you going to do about it? Or you need to tell Daddy that this is a problem. That you need to tell Dad that this is going wrong and see what he says. And I'm doing this because he is supposed to fix it. And I'm so firm in that. That is his role. He has no choice because I put the parameters in place like, this is your role. I am bringing this to you. I am not super alpha. Like, I'm an alpha female, but like, I'm not the masculine energy. It is not for me to fix every single trauma that comes up. That is for the male to do, and for me to sort of help him do that, right? And so I've done it so much now, like, oh, what are you going to do this weekend? He hasn't planned. He knows this, or if anything comes on, or if someone happens at school. See, my little girl, she has enough of me in her where Many of the boys mess with her. They're starting to punch each other, and she's getting rid up, which is not funny. She's getting these write-ups because she gets caught. And I'm like, girl, you can't be going around punching people every time you pissed off or whatever. But like even with that, I'm like, hey, this kid punched her in the school. You handle it, right? And it's funny because so I think a big part of feminine energy is just like understanding your role and that they are here to provide for your need. My need is for you to fix this for my daughter. My need is for you to fix this for her and fix this for her. And this is a problem. And I'm teaching her, bring your problems to your dad. Now, when she grows up, I've already taught her, what do you look for in a man? You notice the guys that mommy talks to on the phone or da-da-da-da-da. And like she already knows already that a man is supposed to do this and he's supposed to be nice, he's supposed to be kind. So me saying like when you get older and you have issues, you can take them to your male counterpart. I'm already teaching her that there is a male authority figure that you can go to for help and support. And I'm going to get on white women for this. Y'all done fucked it up. You're like, oh, if I tell a man my problem, I don't want you to try to fix it. Why the F not? That's what they're there for. You guys had a lecture and you're messing it up. You're messing your men up, okay? A lot more interracial dating with black women and white and Caucasian men, and it's just like, well, you know, like black women, we've been carrying so much for so long, we gladly can give it up. So y'all messing it up. But I'm teaching my daughter, no, you can go to a strong, authoritative male figure and have him fix it. And that's just something that I sort of put in place in my feminine energy, going like, this is our roles, and just mandating it through my actions and through what we do and through throughput. And now he knows any problem he fixes, okay? It ain't gonna be a problem for me. I can't get to you because my car is broke. He will fix it, right? Not because I'm still his responsibility. It's all usually tied to her, but I'm also teaching her it's okay to go with someone for help. Like, yeah, she also knows that she can fix it herself. She knows she can go to mommy, but she also knows that like she's also starting to see more of a healthy masculine energy that's there to provide for her, right? And I didn't really get to see that. My dad was a provider, but not like a great one, like bare minimum one. Like to my standards, not good enough. Like my sister's a mammy, so he's staying with them in their old age. If he would have asked me, I would have been like, I'm gonna give you the energy you gave me so you can go in a nursing home. So I mean, so he gave me a baseline, but like it's a bare minimum. Someone was just like, you're being so hard on your father. He did at least do this, but like that at least stuff is so bare minimum. I'm not with it. So no, but whatever, we got through it. I think I was telling my mom to divorce my dad since I was like 10. I was like, why are you with this dude? Why are you unhappy? Why are you complaining? She's part of the reason why I didn't get stuck in this toxic syndrome, although all three of my sisters did. So yeah, so that's one way. And I noticed with my ex-husband, because I'm in my feminine energy, and I'm like, nope, your dad. Nope, your dad fixes it. What do you want me to do? Well, something, John. I want you to do something. I give it to him, and it's so funny because he went from like, to like, okay, I am empowered to fix it. What is wrong with that? What's wrong with you women? What's wrong with you white women? I'm calling you out. What is wrong with you? Why'd you get so mad that you told your husbands or your brothers about a problem and they tried to fix it? What is wrong with you? I don't get it. Like, Lord, you were pampered, okay? You're very pampered and you're messing it up for other people. Because I know when I was at work, I was around all those males and I did not hesitate to get them to help me at all. Like, what is your problem? This, like, that really bogs my mind because men are made to do that. And so much of that society and that culture is like bashing them for it and emasculating them for it. Stop emasculating your men. We need healthy men. Healthy men, okay? You got some scuzz buckets. So do we. So I get it. There's scuzz buckets everywhere. But that part, that's an easy win for you. Like, oh my God. You gotta do everything yourself? All right, Superwoman. Fine. Seeing how you're the fastest group of baby mamas, I guess you guys are gonna figure it out how to be masculine and feminine. It ain't fun, okay? Whatever. But I think that's why when black women and white men get together, that's why it's so easy. Because they're masculine and we're like, wow, I just get to be sort of cute and you take care of everything. There's no downturn in this. And you like doing this. Okay. That's why they have some of the longest marriages, because we don't take it for granted, okay, at all. And, you know, black women tend to be very smart, very ambitious, very money-oriented, and Those men want to make money, so they recognize when their counterpart is doing the same, and we do. We're sort of like opposite ends of the coin. So yeah, just get that out of the way. So that's with my ex-husband. So I see me being in my feminine energy, how his empowerment as a man and as stepping up and fixing a problem and taking leadership is natural. And that was just one or two things. He does like it when I dress up, give me all googly eyes when I drop my daughter off, and I'm like, don't take that too far, okay? But outside of that, and him just appreciating that because men are visual, just the whole like your role is to provide solutions for whatever we need. And even my daughter knows when I say we're gonna tell dad what you need, she's like, oh, she calms down. She's like, okay, I got it, mom, because she knows I'll let him know that I'm feeling sad. I can't go to the birthday. I didn't tell her this. She just figured it out. But she does know like it's okay to go to a man that you trust and love to help figure it all out or to handle it. And that man, in fact, likes handling it. And he was more in his feminine energy. So me being in my feminine energy and forcing that issue, naturally building him up where I'm like, okay, good. Any woman who gets him after me, you're welcome. You're welcome. That's what your feminine energy does. You make every man who interacts with you a better man by holding firm to your feminine energy boundaries, which, in the next example, they really try to negotiate. They try to negotiate. So I have another man. My ex-husband, he's white, like Italian and Polish, but it's white, right? Next guy, soulmate, he's black. And so he's interesting because I swear to God, we've been dealing with each other for 2 years. And I like to tell him I do not, like, it's me telling him what I need and my boundaries. Very firm boundaries. He's like, you want to have a kid? Like, when I get married. Do you want to get married? Yeah, when you make more money and this, that, and that. And I make sure, like, you're not going to leave the kids and we sign a prenup. All that. So I just have these very strong standards. They're not weird. They're just taking care of me and my legacy. That's what I care about. Me and my legacy. And so throughout all of this, he's interesting because I do have strong boundaries, right? And literally for 2.5 years, it's him trying to get me to renegotiate my standards to be lower. And I feel for every single black woman out there who didn't have a strong set of boundaries. Because if you did not have a strength, eventually they will wear you down. And then what happens once they wear you down and you finally say yes to having the kid out of wedlock, then all of a sudden they don't want you or the kid. So I was talking to him and I was just like, honestly, like 2 years is like me telling you what I wanted and you trying to negotiate me down from it. And literally me thinking I don't negotiate with terrorists. You're not going to get it. Which is why I keep telling you about my soulmate, because he's a big part of my learning growth and what's happening. But it's also why we're not getting married, because like my standards are my standards. Like, no. And he just gets all sad faced. He's like, I can't do it. I'm like, well, figure it out. Bye. And that's a feminine energy trait too. You figure it out. Figure it out. I'm not here to figure it out for you. Okay? You figure it out. That is feminine energy. You are the man. I don't say you're the man, but in my mind, I'm like, you're the man. And I'm like, you need to figure this out. That's being strong in your feminine energy, forcing them to take ownership of a problem and fixing it. And it starts small. You think it's as I told you, when I was telling you about my ex-husband, and me having my daughter go to him when she needs something or she's hurt or she's upset and letting him know so he can fix it. You think it's a little thing, but over time, I see it went from to okay, we'll do, and I'm like, okay, dude, maybe you can do something like instead, or to change it up, or like, or like when I didn't do anything for Easter, like, because that's not my role. Like, I just didn't do anything for Easter. I'm tired. Okay, I have my daughter 5 days a week. I'm tired. Okay, and like I'm like, oh, she's like, what are we doing? And I call him up, and I was like, and she's crying, and I was like, no, we're good, John. I told her, you're going to take care of Easter. And he's like, yeah, Layla, do you know what's going on right here? We have this, and this, and this, and this. And she stops crying and she looks. She's like, really? She's like, yeah, when you get here on Saturday, Friday night, we're going to do it all. She's like, okay. Oh, that's really nice. And then she starts, I love this and this and this. And we're like, yeah, whatever. And then she gets off the phone. I was like, did you really do anything? Anyways, it seems small, but after doing this for like the last 6 months to a year, now it's like, boom, what's happening, Dad? He's like, got it. So he went from like, to, okay, we'll do this, to like, now he knows I am empowering him in my feminine energy to, because I bring the problems to him. If I didn't bring it to him, I wouldn't be empowering him. I bring them to him. It is your job. It is your job. This guy who's my soulmate, it's funny. One time he didn't help me, and I made him leave, and I blew up at him, and I'm usually real cool. So when you're a feminine energy, you're not blowing up, but every now and then it's okay to let it loose because they need to know you're not to mess with. And I was like, don't you ever, ever propose marriage to me. If you can't even come over and help me get this heavy hammock and move it to the, I needed help moving a hammock from one end of my house to the other. This is a single women problem who has houses, right? Like I couldn't move it. It was big. And he said, and he didn't follow through. And I went off on him. And I swear, and because I was so strong, and I'm like, I'm so cool that like, and this is the benefit when you're so chill, when you do go off on them, and you let, and like, I was just like, don't you do it? That is da 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 da. Saying that you want to be my husband, and you can't even come over and help. You want me carrying this big thing, and you don't care, and you're da 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 da. I swear, I was just going in, and I was being so honest. Like, you're saying this, but you're gonna have me out here like this, struggling like this. Your mom, when your mom calls you, you don't do that. I was really going in. I didn't let back, and that's part of feminine energy too. Being real and vulnerable with your feelings. You do this for them, and you're saying I am not worthy enough or deserving, but you're talking about you want to marry me? Boy, he got it. I think it was like a 10-minute rant. I let into him. I swear to God, he came over that night and moved it without me asking, and ever since then, anytime I talk and tell him I need help with something, because I do a lot of projects. I don't got upper arm strength. I need a lot of help. Boy, that boy comes over. And that was just like, so with him, there's like two examples. It was having very firm boundaries that he's been trying to renegotiate down for like 2 years. And it's just like, honestly, within the last like 3 months, he realized she is not going to give in. Either put up or shut up or let her go, right? Now, he really wants me. He does recognize like the kind of woman I am. I don't come a dime a dozen. He's been with a lot of women. He knows I am different. He knows that it's not just going to happen. He knows all of that. But he gets really sad because that takes work and effort. But whatever. You figure it out, okay? And honestly, you see how my hands are thrown up? There is some level. You need to really be like, you figure it out. I am not coddling you. I am not your mother. And so it's funny, you think you spend a minute energy, I'm like, oh, cutesy. Like, I am cutesy when I'm playful and fun, but there's complexity. And so when I'm being firm in my boundaries, no, you're going to get like, figure it out. Figure it out. I need more women to be like that. Figure it out, because it is on them. Like I said, my ex went from this to like, now he's on point. And she knows, oh, what? I'm going to go to my dad. Okay? Now, it took some grooming, but we did it. And with him, he knows he needs to provide. Don't even talk about getting serious if you don't. It's not going to slide. Lay it into him. And he also knows the boundaries are not going to be renegotiated. Also being firm in those boundaries and standards, and me going like, you need to make X and X. He was actually crossing those off. Like, he did double his income within like 2 months of me saying that. In all these different ways, like, because of the feminine energy, he became a better person and a better member of society and a better understanding of what a real woman looks like and how you should treat her, right? Because I forced him to understand how to do it and being strong in my feminine energy. So you can be weak in it where you have it, but you let it go. No. In order for me to stay in my feminine energy, you need to be this hardcore. If you want to stay in your luxury, you want to stay in your beauty, you want to stay in that harmonious, happy energy that you have that makes you happy, you have to be strong. Otherwise, everyone will take you out of it. For me to stay in that cool, awesome, calm place, you got to figure it out. Because if I figure it out, I'm not in this energy anymore. I'm not sitting anymore. I'm standing and I'm running. And that's just being strong. And that's very healing to the men around you, because either they leave you alone or they step into what you need. And the beautiful part about that is that you just got to mean it. And it's just very healing for them, because, and this is the dividing line, if the guy wants you to. So if you set firm your boundaries and he really doesn't like you, he's not going to do anything. But then why are you keeping him around? Let him go. Your firm boundaries will chase him away. If he does like you and you're very clear about your boundaries, he will step into them. That is how healing your feminine energy. Men are users and negotiators and trying to do the least. Your firm sitting in your feminine energy forces them to be men, So I look at the soulmate. I'm not going to end up with them because, like I said, standards ain't changing. But I look at who he is and how he walks and how he rolls and how he responds to women after dealing with me, because I'm so firm in that. And I'm just like, you're a better person. I look at my ex-husband. He's more of a masculine energy person. He knows how to take charge and ownership, but I gave and allow that in the space, and I gave him that role. I let go of me. I am not, in order for me to sit in my feminine, I'm not taking on the stress of this happened at school. He is. I'm not taking on the stress if I forgot to do the Easter egg. He is. I'm not taking on the stress that she is sad because we didn't social. He is, but now he's got it. So he can take that on. I can still keep resting. So resting in the feminine energy, you just got to be strong, or else you want to get taken out. I like it here. And then I want to do another relationship, the priest. So I'm dating with the priest. Me and the priest, he's a soulmate too, whatever, really like each other. It's not going to work out because he's like going back to Maryland, and like the priest position here is changing, and it's just a lot with his kids and custody because he did wrong in his first marriage. So I did it. I didn't marry a trash bag, but whatever. Some people do. And so it's not going to go anywhere. Like I said, I can love you, but not but still be very logical about things. So like the love's not. I have my boundaries. Like it just isn't gonna happen. And even him, I'm thinking he's a priest, but like he's really getting sucked in and negative and cynical thoughts. And I'm just like, every time he was around me, well, I'm a manifester. I'm spiritual. Like, what's the problem? You can manifest and change whatever you want. And every time we got together, the deep conversations that Black women are having and have had on business, the deep conversations on finance, the deep conversations of spirituality he's having with me. And like every time we meet, he's like, his mind is expanded. He's like, oh, right? And so that's like the relationship. And he like is just more knowledgeable and understanding. And, I can explain different Black experiences to him that he was very curious about. He's like, this is what I do, but this is what's going on. My dad helped integrate like the workhouse. There was like a manufacturing firm, and his dad was in charge of helping to integrate it. And he started like a radio show with like another Black foreman and him to do it. So like his legacy is that of like being hands-on, right? So so there's an intrigue there, and I'm pretty articulate, and I just have an understanding of different levels of like the Black and white experiences I've had to navigate both successfully. Right? Successfully, keyword, right? Not just navigate. And so his mind keeps expanding every time he's with me. And he's like, every time I'm with you, like, it's just more positive place. I just have a more positive outlook. And I love that positivity because I can get so sucked down into the thing. And that was just my feminine energy connecting to my spiritual aspect. That makes you more positive because you have an understanding of why crime's happening and why this is happening and how to make your circumstances better, how to reach out. Like, so you just don't have the same cynical view because you understand that all this pain and suffering is, this is part of the learning. You can help, but there's also learning lessons within the pain. And also you can change your life and your mindset at any moment and trajectory out, right? So he's the priest, right? Which I respected, but he respected me. So me being in my feminine energy and being on the spiritual side, you're able to bring that insight and understanding and emotional stability and calm and measuredness to the situation. And he was just like, wow, I was so used to like the women getting so pissed off and irritated and things didn't go exactly their way. Like being around you is just so stress relieving. Like I fell asleep just smiling, right? That's like the healing energy, like strong feminine energy brings. And there's so much wounded masculine where, the current guy I'm dating, he's very interesting. So he's very masculine. And he's just like, the reason I like you is just because all the women, he's 36, all the women my age, it's almost like taking on another child. They're always stressed out. They're always going off. They're always doing this, like, and you're just really calm and you keep your cool and like, you know how to explain things. One time I didn't put this, I didn't put this, I put a spaghetti spoon or a pasta spoon on the counter. And like the ex-girlfriend threw a coffee mug at me because she was so pissed off. And it's just like, yeah, it's not going to escalate to that. I mean, if I was really pissed off at how you were doing things, I'm going to kick you out of my house, but I'll probably just show you a way. Like, just put it in the dishwasher so I don't have to deal with this. Yeah, it's just going to be calm. Like, it's either I'm kicking you out, like, you're either going to, I'm going to show you how to do this, or you're not going to be around me, but I'm not going to be, like, throwing shit at you. And he's just like, with you, because I'm in my feminine energy, which is emotional intelligence, right? He's just like, Yeah, I just don't have that. But like with the other women I was with, it's almost like you have another kid because they're not emotionally mature. So I'm going to put it out there. All women, like there is a level of emotional maturity and a rites of passage that we need to start bringing to this country. I don't know what I'm going to do, but when you go from, you know, everything triggers you to always having to control, and this is all wounded feminine, um, being insecure and lashing out and not being able to trust, all wounded feminine. When you get over to the other side, like definitely your rewards is that the quality of men you're going to attract are men who already have that as well. And I find that the men who already have that as well, they tend to be people who are very high earners. They tend to be people who are in position of power and leadership. So it does pay out in your mate because you're going to get a match. Like I am telling you, never had this quality of men before. Never. Not at this price range, not bringing in 25,000 a month, not a priest, not, you know what I mean? Like, just never had this caliber. However, now my emotional intelligence is at a level where they're like, well, they recognize what this is, so they're not going to let someone come in and wreck their lives, just like I'm not going to let someone come in and wreck my life because they don't have their emotional ability together. You know, it's funny because I told this one guy, yes, you right, yeah, it definitely is a difference. Your emotional intelligence definitely. I mean, it's worth it, not just because all your relationship is hot. Sorry, guys. Not just because all your relationships are like different. I mean, all your relationships are like better, like between my daughter, between my friends, between my families. But just the quality and caliber of men of when you're dating are going to be at people who also have that level of emotional intelligence, which generally comes with business, financial, and prestigious status, success. Uh, and they know exactly, real recognizes real. They call me queen off the bat. They know exactly who they're dealing with because of how I present myself. Really? Yeah, yeah. You know, like someone who's not going to blow up. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get you. Just means I'm not going to blow up and be emotional like a child, right? I handle it with big girl pants, right? So, like if you guys are watching the trial between that Waukesha crazy man who hit all those people and kill all those people who's acting straight up ignorant, narcissistic. And you saw how she was pissed off, but she was like, "We're gonna go through the motions. We're gonna go through the motions." Like that. Like at the end of the day, I got you, but it's gonna be when I'm reading this verdict, bitch. Okay, and you're not gonna declare a mistrial. All right, bitch. Like that's what you're doing. It's big. So she had her big girl pants on, and that's what you have when you have this. So yeah. So that is part of so like, and so with this guy, like, so the current guy I'm dating, um, he's cool. Like I said, it was a universal match because I told the universe what I wanted, and they brought him like 6 days, and there he was. He is cool in the fact that, so you know me, I'm spiritual, and sometimes I'll take it easy on you, sometimes I'm not. Just like, look, I'm a medium, I'm a psychic. What I talk to people, I talk to angels. It's not a big deal. You know, like I'm not scared to go out by myself to the worst neighborhood. I wish they would. They'll find out the hard way. I'm not the one. Okay, I got power. Right? I know how to tap into that very easily. That's my spiritual feminine energy, right? That power that I told you about that we all have that I use every day. That's why I go out by myself. And people are like, "Don't go out by yourself." I do. I'll be fine. I mean, guardian angels are on point. Like they ain't gonna let you do anything like that. But so every time he's with me, I'm not taking it easy. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is just what happens. This is like, and you know, I just have that higher perspective. And I just did the last video about like we're talking about marriage already, and he is a contender. He is a strong contender. And I was just like, this is what I need. I'm sorry, like you know. And I was telling you how I was like, you know, he gave the things like, oh, I don't necessarily want to dress up and do all this social things. Doesn't matter. I don't brown nose. And he gave the example of a general, you know, I could speak equally to the general or the commoner, and they both respect me. And I was like, that's cool, but I sit at the officer's table, and I'm not going to go down to the infantry table where you're at. Do you want to hang out at the officer's table? Because that's where I hang out. Okay. And it was just like I told you, he thought about it and was like, okay, I'm on board. I can see this. You know, it's not really how I am, but I actually do see like where you're going and what this can do for both of us. And I look and I was just like, you know, that feminine energy and this part of the feminine aspect. So there's so many aspects of feminine energy, right? This aspect that I was really worried about was like, as a life partner, my goals are X and X, and just be really clear, firm in my boundaries, and going, can you get on board with this vision I have for us socially? I'm cool with your vision of finances. I'm cool with your vision of monogamy. Easy, right? Because I like both. I like monogamy and I like making money. So we're on board with that. Me, I'm worried about the social. And he's like, and he's okay with it. And he's saying, okay, this is what we can do. And like I said, he's starting to handle it, right? So he's already masculine, unlike my ex-husband. So like, I don't have to like tell him to fix it. He wants to fix that. If I bring him an issue, his instincts and his genetic code is to fix it for me and anyone else. He was fixing stuff before I even asked. He was like, I see a couple of things I can fix here. I'm like, oh, and he did. He wasn't all talk. He's like, no. And I was telling you in that last video that like, he's a leader, but not an alpha yet because he doesn't have anything to lead. However, I could see if he's given like a family, if he's given like kids, he will be a strong leader. So he's there waiting for the alpha role, for the leadership to guide and to provide when that is provided. So I definitely see that, like it's right there waiting. He's just, and he's searching for that tribe to lead. He's definitely searching for it. And I look and I'm like, all right, so just by me understanding that social aspect of the feminine energy and like, hey, this is where I'm going, this is that higher level I want to elevate to. Do you want to elevate with me? That's what I want. I don't want to devolve. I want to elevate more. Do you want to elevate with me in your health, in your physical health, and this, in your social, like understanding, like this is how we present ourselves. This is the kind of crowd that I roll in. Do you want to sit at the officer's table or stay with the infantryman as a contractor? Now he has enough smart and intellect, because I wouldn't be with someone who isn't. He understands that this can take him to the next level. I'm there. He understands this can take him to the next level. And I really start thinking about, and I grew up on these books and romance novels that were like English historical romance novels, like what you guys see with like Bridgerton, right? Like I grew up with those books, and it's funny because it's like literally it's like dynasties are being made, right? Like, and I guess I don't know if I take it from there or I'm just being logical. It's just the natural evolution. I was like, no, man, we're gonna make these connections. We're gonna get together, and we gonna elevate in status. Okay, I'm already doing it. So I know I can do it. And I'm very powerful, but my counterpart, I need you to be on board, and it is. And I'm looking at, I'm like, okay, so he's opening his mind. He's thinking about it in a way he hasn't. And because I'm in my feminine energy, every single relationship that I've given any energy to, every single one of those men are better men. That is what we need, because they are used to children. They are used to women with being emotional. They're used to them being triggered. It's okay to be triggered, but you need to heal that. Now, the other half is like finding men who are masculine. It's two sides, right? So if you're doing all this at work, finding the men who can be like that, and all I can just say, work with universal energies to bring in your partner, because they are out there and it is easy to find once you tap into it, which is what I help my clients with. But they are out there, they are your equal, and you just have to put the magic in the air to put you together at your stage in development. But it is what, I don't know, I figured it out. It's pretty easy for me and my clients. So, it makes it as easy or as hard as you want. But when you do all that work, you are valuable. So they're like, what do you bring to the table? I'm like, everything you wanted, every single thing you wanted. So that's what I bring to the table. You wouldn't be talking to me. Not that anyone ever asked that, because I don't know, like when you embody what you are, no one needs to ask what I bring. The one guy who did ask was a Kevin Samuel follower. He was like, I'm 6'2". I'm in the 10% of being such a dick. He said that, I'm 6'2". I'm in the 10% of men to use salsa. Of course I didn't answer that question when he asked me what I bring to the table. Hang up the phone. I'm not answering that. But like the thing is, you don't need to answer that, because if you portray yourself as you are, as you really feel you are, I am a priestess. I carry myself as a priestess. My energy is like, no, I'm a spiritual leader. Like I've done the work. I communicate with the other side. I have very beautiful, extensive networks with the other side that I've gained in relationships with very high integrity light beings. I'm very well protected. I'm highly honored and favored. And that is something I curated over the last 5 years through my own hard work, developing my spiritual gifts and abilities. I carry that energy and confidence. I carry the confidence of someone who's built a 10-year coaching business. I carry the confidence of someone who's built a rental portfolio. I carry the confidence of someone who knows who's financially free and makes my own money and doesn't have to work. And I work 2 to 3 hours a day. I carry the confidence of someone who knows how to dress up and present themselves nicely because I took the time to figure out what's a style for me. I figured it out. It was American Classic. What's a good look for me? I figured this out. What's a good diet for me? Keto and intermittent fasting. You get someone who took all that time and all those different aspects of self, who presents themselves with the confidence of someone who knows themselves and knows their aspects of themselves and know what they're capable of. So no, outside of that one jerk, this is a black guy too. Outside of that one jerk, Kevin Samuel follower, this is before I knew he was so horrible. No one should really need to ask you that. It's just obvious. The way you carry yourself shouts it. So we need to let men be men. We need to, and if you have a baby father, and like he's my ex-husband, he's not a baby daddy, so he already cares about my daughter, right? So I'm already dealing, and I met him when I married him. I knew he had a very strong family value because I saw how his family was, right? So even though we're divorced, we are still co-parents. We still talk for about 10, 15. My daughter gets mad because we'll talk for like 10 to 30 minutes because like we still have respect for each other. We're still friends. It did not work out. But he is there for his daughter. We were just talking about it. I was telling him and joking that like we were just talking about online dating, and I was telling him like, you know what, like why am I giving you all this dating advice because I like you? Like honestly, I want you to stay single, so you just because right now you live and breathe for our daughter. So why would I want you having some other kids? And he was just like, you think anything could ever get in the way of me and my daughter? I was like, no, I was just joking, but he took it so crazy. He was like, me, that's like me saying, why don't you don't bring some abusive stepfather into the house. I was like, that would never happen. It's like, that's as crazy as saying I would let anyone get in the way between me and Layla. Okay? I was like, point noted. When you're in your feminine energy, you throw your hands up a lot because you're like, I'm not fighting this. Point noted. Right. It is equally as crazy. Never going. I don't even let guys raise a voice to me. And I wish other women had that standard. They can't even raise a voice to you. Maybe like once or twice. That's it. That's just a raised voice, not a raised hand. So yeah, you know, like bringing the problems to them and looking at them like, you gonna fix it. Or if they have problems and they're like, well, you need to fix it. Like honestly, it's basically you just going, you need to fix it. Like I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna do for me, but you need to fix it. It's like having that spiritual aspects that expounds them. It's being emotionally mature so that they finally get a woman and not a little girl. Some of you guys are older than me, but you're little girls with your emotional intelligence. We got it. We can stop it. We're better than that. And now's the time. The divine feminine energy is emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, and relationship intelligence. Very healing. They need more men like me. There's not enough for me to go around, okay? They need more women who are emotionally mature, emotionally stable, can let them be men, and actively forces them to be men by going, this is an issue. Can you do this? Can you solve this? I need help with this. Can you do that? Like, force the issue. It took a little bit of time, but, like, you get them to the point. And then, like I said, with the real masculine man I'm with now, like, he just sort of took charge. That's his role. Like, Lord have mercy, you just went up on the totem pole of, like, a man I'm going to take seriously. And then I found out he made more money than me. And I was like, oh, my God. What? I don't give a fuck if you're 5'9". And then he owns his own business. And I was like, well, I'm planning these trips. You want to come? He's like, yeah, sure. I was like, you can just travel with me like that? Oh, yeah. You run your own business. You can do what I do. But yeah. Man, I'm taking you seriously. Oh, you want kids? Okay. Okay, youngin. Okay, 36-year-old. He's like, and younger guys do like older women because they're looking for that maturity. So, I wouldn't say don't. I do date older, but man, it's the young men who really, they're young and got all this verb. They're the ones that really go for you. So as long as they're like minding their P's and Q's and they're bringing it like what they need to bring, everything they need to bring, I would say ladies, like, embrace the fact that they're ready and willing to take it on. Okay. So that's sort of where we're at now. I hope you understand how healing us doing this work can be. So you can do therapy work and not be your feminine energy. You're going to be more healing. It's not your job. However, it is nice to see that when you're in this energy, every single person that goes around you, especially the men, become manlier, become masculine, become more willing to take on anything you gave them because you actively got rid of all the things and gave it to them. You let the cape fly. You sat there in your vulnerability and go, I can't do everything. I need help. Because there are things I looked at my ex-husband. I was like, I'm tired. I'm getting tired. I can't. I'm taking it on the weekends and I can't. I'm getting super tired. And he came up with a solution. But that was after 6 months of a year of me going, we have this issue. Can you do something? Can you figure it out? Or what can you do? Or can daddy do something? I mean, actively putting him in that role. So I think a lot of it's just like you're more healing when you're in that feminine role because you force the men to be men. And I'm really impressed with all the men that I'm with and have been with, where they're at, and it's all just because of me holding the standard raises them up, me holding them to their role. They finally have a role with me. So you got to ask yourself, as you go into the dating world, what's their role with you? My role is clearly defined. I'm an author. I'm a writer. I'm going to a cryptocurrency conference to speak. It's the Catholic Cryptocurrency Conference in Philadelphia. If anyone's in the King of Prussia region for November 17th and 18th, look up the Catholic Crypto Conference, and I will be giving a presentation and showing people how to buy their first Bitcoin because it'd be very intimidating looking at the screen because it looks like a really complex trader screen. So my role is, look, I'm doing for myself. I'm building my own legacy. I have the people I lead who follow me, and I try to do it with honor and integrity that gets them to a higher place. But I'm allowing you to do the DIY around the house. I'm allowing you to just take it. I'm allowing that when I have a problem, I'm going to bring it to you. I'm making very clearly defined roles that are already within his genetics. And since I can now recognize it, I can play into that and giving him that authority and that place and whatnot, And so that's what we bring. We give men who don't know their roles a role. We give men who don't know how to be the role of a man a place because we're sitting so firmly in it. So is there any questions before I get on out? With that that's sort of where we're at, and it's very healing, and I hope you guys can really take that in and just know that we can be the change in this country, in society. We can start it. It can literally start with me and then you and then 4 of us and then 8 of us. We really can start turning these things around, and these ungrateful bees, these ungrateful bitches getting mad at men for solving fucking problems. Well, let them go and be masculinas, as Chloe says. Let them go be masculinas by themselves, all right? Because they and with their feminine men, which I explained, let them do that. But the rest of us, we can get the men who recognize and want to be in that role and appreciate a woman who can let them be in that role because we can understand. Because we can understand it and we can let them define it. You know what I mean? It's, when I say my feminine energy, it's a whole bunch of different aspects that make you being in your feminine. So all the different aspects of being in your feminine is being allowing the male protector, the physical protector, to be the counterpart. Another aspect of your feminine energy is being emotionally intelligent, not triggered. So that works on your healing, has emotional stability. So you come in my house, my daughter's emotionally stable. I mean, she's a kid, but better than most, right? The household is emotionally stable. It's not rocking because I'm not triggered. I'm not out of control. I don't need to control. It's letting go of control. It's trusting. It's being vulnerable. But surrounding yourself with people who fit your boundaries and standards, of being very strong in what you want, what your vision is for yourself, your family, and legacy, keeping to that. And so that will push away the negative men who shouldn't be there, but it'll also attract the men who want to be there. And being firm in your boundaries will force them to step into it because you don't give a choice. It's either you do it or you don't. You're so clear and direct. So instead of being so scared that you'll chase people off, you're so direct. They have no choice except to get with the program or leave. There is no room for anything vague. And when you're doing that, it helps them either step into the role or they don't step in. If they like you, they will step in. Every single time if they've liked me, they've stepped up, period. So the feminine energy is all these different things, all these different aspects. And staying there is the key. I think a lot of you guys negotiate yourself out, or you did. Maybe you don't anymore, because I didn't think I follow women who have done the healing work like I have. Like Shay, who's right here. she's done the healing work. We talk about feminine energy, and she says what she's learned, and I'm always like, oh my gosh, and I tell her what I learned, and we go back and forth because we both have found the power in here. Like we're goddesses. We really are. Emotionally stable and emotionally intelligent, trusting and being vulnerable and being firm in your boundaries. The boundary part is what makes them men. Because every single time it's just me being firm and like who I am and not budging one bit. So the priest is sort of like, what do I do? But me not budging. Like this is who I am, and but like I'm firm, and so he either has to get with the program or he doesn't, and you get to see who actually likes you, right? So yes, all of those things are feminine energy, and so there's a lot of wounded feminine energy to do it, and so like honestly, it feels so good in your feminine energy. So like, what's your problem, ladies? Like shouldn't be that hard. But like it's just the firm boundaries and actively forcing them to take the role of the masculine and like not letting up and over, like, no, you do it. No, you need to figure it out. No, this is your role. No, you do it. If you're in my life, you do this role. If you're in my life, I bring you a problem, I want you to fix it. I am tired. I need you, and my ex-husband gets it a lot. I need you to figure this out because I'm tired. I'm tired. I need something. I need your help with something. What can we do? I'm tired. What can we do with the situation? What can we do with the custody? Right? And he came up with it. So it's just being so firm, but forcing them to take the role and not budging. And if they do leave, let them leave because they didn't really want you. You only want the men around. I mentioned 4 men out of all the men I dated. Those are the 4 men who actually wanted me and were willing to do what I needed them to do. I'm not talking about the other 8 that I dated. You know what I mean? What contract, Shaya? What contract? I do negotiate a lot. Trying to build dynasties out here. How you meet them and tell them what you want. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's talk. That could be a sensitive subject. I have set 3 questions before I move you to video chat. These are my questions, not yours. Oh, hi. What? Are you vaccinated? I can't share fluids with anyone vaccinated. Take that as you want. Not happening. Second question. What are you looking for? And they're usually honest, casual, something serious, long-term relationship, eventually married. They're serious. So weed out who needs to be weeded out and let them know, oh, I'm looking for marriage. And then I'm like, and I want more. I'm aggressive. I'm like, and I want more kids. Do you want kids? At least 2. And probably within the next 3 years. That scares a lot. But the guys who want the kids are like, no, I don't have any. And I thought I was sort of couldn't, and I like it. So then I'm like, okay, let's video chat. So I go to the video chat, and then half of them get scared, but then the other half we talk. And then from the video chat, half of them like try to go on a date because I'm not going to video chat you to death because you're not worth it. If you don't take me on a date, you're not worth it. You don't get my time. My time is valuable. So video chat, I lose another half. And then when I go on a date, usually within 2 dates, you already know if you're going to be a match. And that's when, for these new relationships, we start talking about, even with the priest, we were talking about what it would be like if we're married. And I snore, so I'm like, I have another room. Like, I mean, we're talking marriage pretty quickly, because with someone who actually likes you. If you're not talking marriage quickly, men want to use you. They just want to use you. They want to use all this beautiful energy, all of it. Soft, curvy body, the warmth, the intellect. They want to use it. So that's why I'm so quick to cut things off, because it cuts off the users and they don't use too much, right? All your youth and all your love and all your patience. Don't let it eat it up. And so from there, I generally bring the conversations up because Homegood was like, well, I want to get serious. And I'm like, well, exclusive. And I'm like, I'm not getting exclusive until I'm with the person I'm going to marry. And then he's like, and I was like, listen, we've been dating and I like this about you. But then I was like, I do have concerns and reservations about this and this aspect. I'm just being very honest. And then I waited like a few days and I was like, okay, I'm getting more serious because I found out, he makes more money than me. And I was like, okay, so I like you and you make more money. You're definitely like a number 1 right now. But someone else can come and take the lead. I'm working with Universal Energy, so they bring me my man when I tell them to bring him. I just tell them modifications. And so then it was like, okay, since I'm taking this guy seriously, but I'm also still drawing in other matches just to see what's going on out there before I make a final decision. Because I'm choosing, right? Using the universe, I'm choosing. I'm not looking, I'm choosing. It's different, it's different energy. I was like, well, I am serious, and I know from my past that, like, when I have a vision, I need to. My goal as a woman, and your goal in your feminine energy is to let them know what you need and be vulnerable. And mine is, and I explained on the last video when I was talking about 3 weeks and talking about marriage. I was talking about like, I was like, okay, so I am looking at you more seriously. This is I told you I had reservations, but let me just be really direct and tell you what this is. I present myself nicely. I care about my health. I take care of my body. I do this. I try to look good. I have a skincare regimen. I try to keep my hair up and nice. It's not perfect, of course. So when I just get my hair done, it's great. And then, it sort of goes down and it goes in a cycle, but I do care. I do care about like the people I hang out with and social elevation and being around them. And like it is at a higher status and elevation. I present myself well and I take care of my appearance. You are a rough deck. Who doesn't? I am not telling you to change, but I have elevated to this status, and I know this is what it takes to keep me here and go further. If I get a counterpart who does not, you will take me down, and that is not the goal. I'm here about, I like money and power, and da-da-da-da-da, and that is what I want, and I've done it to a certain level myself. So any counterpart, I don't want you taking me down. I don't want you devolving me. I want to continue the elevation. So you don't have to do any of it. I just tell you this is what I care about, and I can't force you to care, and I'm not going to nag you. I was really aggressive too. But it don't matter if you're aggressive. They like you. You just need to be clear and direct. And I was just like, yeah, da-da-da. He came back and he said he's on board. He can see like the benefits of what I said and like elevating to da-da-da-da. But that's generally how I bring him up. So it's either you're like, this is what I want for myself. This is what I've accomplished. I want to do more. And anyone I bring, you need to lift me up. You can't bring me down because you don't want it or you don't see the vision. So it's usually I usually term it in terms of like, I generally do have a vision. Like, this is my ultimate goal. I have a goal. That's why I'm an alpha female. I have people who follow me, but we have a goal. We have an ultimate destination. I'm not an idle train. If you're with me on this channel, my train is to have you be a super powerful, empowered Black woman with extreme amounts of class that wherever they go, they get power and respect. That is what I get. That is my goal. Anyone who follows me, which is not a big group, but the people who do, they understand that and they know the assignment, right? I do that same level with my men as a very strong feminine energy woman. And the thing is, it's like when you're so strong, you're creating your energetic boundaries. They either get on it or not. And I find that the men get on it, and he doesn't have to. But he says he is, and we'll see, keep going forward and keep negotiating. But that's sort of how I bring up these extra, they can be quite sensitive. But they're not sensitive to me because, I have a track record of my own work within it. So even if I was still at the bottom, but I said this is the goal, it would still be a vision. They either want to get on, but your job is to be both open and vulnerable and explain it. So that's when I get into all these expectations and then whatnot. Yeah, and I gotta get going too. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it was just a different perspective. And I wanted to give you this perspective so you can draw from it if you need to on having these sensitive conversations or understanding how you can show up as a strong feminine energy and how that makes the men around you naturally, if they like you and they care about you or care about your daughter or whatever, how they're going to naturally step up into that. But like there's some level of intentionality about you being so strong in your feminine and forcing the masculine role there by just over and over tapping into that gene until it's fully activated. And I've seen it. The men I've been with, and I still deal with all of them. I still deal with my ex. I still deal with the soulmate, even though we're not going to get serious. Every single one are like really good, activated, masculine energy men who know how to treat women. That is your gift. It's your gift. It's our gift to the world. And I would love for Black women to be like the ones who start it. I want us to be the ones who model it and the ones who enjoy the fruits of that labor and that emotional and divine spiritual work. So love all of you guys. I hope that was helpful and some perspective. Please leave comments below about anything you learned or any aspects or what you use yourself. And yeah, like at the end of the day, I just want us to be strong, beautiful Black goddesses who can show the world how it's really done. I mean, I do model that in my own life, and there's no reason the collective can't if they're open to this and just has a little bit of focus and intentionality. about what they're presenting and bringing to the world. Like, all right, bye.